Alrighty, everyone. So we got an interesting one where a couple researchers or a few researchers exploited the Kia Connect system and demonstrated that. So the credits for this particular presentation goes to Bleeping Computer, of course. And then there's a YouTube video from Sam Curry, and there's an article, a breakdown from Sam Curry. And then, of course, the few images that I have were created with meta.ai. Right, so the summary is that security researchers discovered vulnerabilities in Kia vehicles that could be exploited to gain remote control over key functions, including the locking, unlocking, and starting the vehicle. The researchers were able to access the Kia dealer website and register a fake dealer account, which gave them access to PII, such as the owner's name, email, and phone number. They then used this information to take control of the vehicle remotely, demonstrating how a malicious actor could potentially use this vulnerability. However, the article also emphasizes that Kia has since patched those vulnerabilities, and the proof of concept tool was never released publicly. All right, so here's the breakdown of what I think happened. The researchers created a dealer account, so they registered as a dealer on the Kia Connect dealer website. They then generated a dealer token. So after logging into the dealer account, the attacker generated a valid access token. I think in the article it may have been referenced as App ID, and this could be used to call the backend dealer APIs. They obtained the victim's information using the dealer token and the VIN number. Then they demoted the owner with the victim's email address and the VIN. The attacker could then send an HTTP request to the endpoint, and this basically demoted the owner of the vehicle to a lower permission level, allowing the attacker to add themselves as the primary account holder. And then they added the attacker as the primary owner, which we just mentioned, and the attacker could send the HTTP request, and this would add the attacker as the primary owner and granting them full control over the Kia Connect system for that particular vehicle. So 4 and 5 are kind of the same. So here's some terms that were mentioned in the articles. API, Application Programming Interface. This allows different software systems to communicate and share data. The Kia hackers exploited vulnerabilities in the dealer API process to gain unauthorized access to vehicle systems. The backend encompasses the behind-the-scenes infrastructure of a software application or website, including databases, servers, and other components hidden from the user's view. An exploit is a method used to take advantage of a vulnerability in the system. In this case, the exploit involves sending specific sequences of requests to gain control of the vehicle. The researchers created the proof of concept exploit, a dashboard that demonstrated the vulnerability in action, and there was a video as well, and you can access that link from the credits. The HTTP request, that is an HTTP request is a message sent from a web browser to a website server asking for specific action like retrieving data and submitting the form. Analyzing these requests helps cybersecurity professionals understand how attackers interact with systems. The response, the HTTP response, is the server's reply to the HTTP request. So by examining these responses, the researchers investigating the Kia vulnerability could understand how the system operated and identify the weaknesses. And PII, personally identifiable information. This refers to any data that can be used to identify a specific individual, such as their names, their addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, and even social security numbers. Safeguarding PII is a primary concern in cybersecurity, and the Kia vulnerability exposed owner's PII. So what is a remote execution? It occurs when an attacker can run their code on a target computer system without physical access. It's a severe cybersecurity threat. It allows attackers to control systems from a long distance. The Kia vulnerability could have allowed remote execution on vehicles. So what's a reverse proxy? A reverse proxy sits between the users and a server, intercepting and forwarding requests. Reverse proxies can improve security by hiding the true server from users and enhance performance. But in this case, they did use one, but it doesn't always help. Session ID. When a user logs into a website, the server issues a unique session ID to track activity. So this is usually stored in a browser cookie. It helps the server identify and manage the user's requests. If attackers steal a session ID, they can impersonate the legitimate user. A URI, which is a Uniform Resource Identifier, is a string of characters that identifies a resource on the internet, and a URL is a Uniform Resource Locator and is a specific type of URI. Vulnerability is a weakness or a flaw in a system, process, or software that could be exploited by attackers. Vulnerabilities are akin to gaps in armor that hackers can penetrate. Sources detail specific vulnerabilities in the Kia system. So if you actually read the articles in the credits, you'll see how they actually did this. What are some of the mitigations? So mitigations are usually pretty routine. Multi-factor authentication, strong authentication processes, role-based access control, and least privilege. Don't give users, managers, or anyone more access than they need. Enhanced API security, encryption at rest, in transit, and end-to-end. Secure token handling, regular security audits and pen testing. Secure software development lifecycle. I'll put the security in at the beginning. Incident response plan if things go wrong. That's important. Employee training to help, including not just your phishing kind of training, but you want to educate all your employees on how to prevent and hopefully stop these attacks. And of course, physical security is also very important. This is a real quick one, so I hope you enjoyed it. It is about exploiting the Kia Connect system. And thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.